How's it going, guys? So the latest episode of Yugioh VRAINS has just come out, episode 30, and if you watched last week's episode, then last week was a recap episode. I was reading into little bits and pieces about why there's so many recaps we've had this sort of series of Yu-Gi-Oh! And little bits and pieces because directors have sort of changed over. They're trying to go into a better direction with sort of animation style, which in this episode you can kind of see. This happened a little while back, but I imagine it's a contributing factor towards why there's another recap episode. And the other reason was that I can't exactly remember how it was, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 had like 20 or 40 like people working on it, doing something or other. Not like obviously just that many people, but like important people, whatever it was. However, Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS is like not even a quarter of that or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of why there's so many recap episodes. I'm okay with them sort of having breaks every now and then. Like if they wanted to take a week off just to sort of catch up, that's absolutely fine with me. I don't mind having a week off, but I'd rather them have no episode than keep doing these recap episodes. I can't stand them. So yeah, that's just my thought that I don't review recap episodes. There's no point. But this episode I actually thought was really good. So yeah, let's just talk about it. So in this episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, Yusaku basically turns into Spider-Man because his link sense was tingling the entire time. Something ominous was happening, and what we discover is there's this like pinkish purplish circle thing with little tentacles that come out. It's some kind of AI, but what does it want, what does it do, and what is it doing apart from having loads of energy? I ain't got a clue. We have to find out next week. So we see at the start of this episode as well that the white-haired guy that we've sort of seen little glimpses of, that may or may not be Revolver, but another hot dog. And we now know that the white-haired guy knows who Yusaku is, that he is Playmaker, so he definitely knows. He even took a little glance at Yusaku while he was working at the table. So yeah, that's pretty much saying that the white-haired guy is Revolver. I'm pretty damn sure, like, it has to be him, right? And we see in this episode when he goes to the core, whatever he's going to do now is going to be discovered very soon. So this is the big reveal, I think, coming up, that we're going to find out what the goal of the Knights of Hanoi are. And we also see that he possibly has a new deck because Ghost Girl and him have to have a speed duel in this episode, and we're going to get to watch that in the next episode. And he sort of implies he wants to tune his deck to see if it's any good now. So I think after his loss against Yusaku, he's rebuilt his deck into something a little bit better. So yeah, that'll be awesome to see, some new cards. Ignis in this episode I thought was being a little bit shifty because he really didn't want to go find out the source of this problem. So he either knows what he is or he has an inclination about what it is, because every time Yusaku's like, going to go find out what it is, he's like, I don't think we should, I'm worried, this is dangerous. We should back out, it's too dangerous, we shouldn't go. So the more he doesn't want to go, because we know he sort of is manipulating things a little bit behind the scenes where he set up that fight between Yusaku and that Knight of Hanoi guy. So, yeah, what's he up to? We don't know. Yusaku's partner also mentioned that he was setting up a support system for Yusaku, and it was about 80% complete. And we didn't get to see what that was in this episode, but I wonder what it could be in the next one. It could be like, what I would like to see was probably like a upgraded version of his duel board or something. That could be quite cool. Like a support system, like his duel board. I don't know. Maybe. I think as soon as Ghost Girl showed up in this episode, I thought the animation was really, really awesome. When she had like the little firefly things going around, specifically when went into the sewer with sort of the glow coming from the sewage water. It's not, it's like data or something, but it looked really good. Especially, it's just whenever they have the shadows in these kind of series, it always looks awesome. They did the same thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 when they get serious. They do the shadows and it looks cool. But in this one, yeah, everything in the sewers looked gorgeous and the animation was very fluid. We had Yusaku fighting some weird data monster, and then we had Ghost Girl who was sort of hacking into the corrupt thing, whatever it was, and then being discovered by Revolver and getting trapped and having to be forced to duel. She tried to get out of it, but she didn't get out. It was pretty funny as well, where to decide which way they were going to go, she did that sort of card trick, and Ignis does his, what was it, his destiny draw to try and draw the card that he needed, but he got cheated, so he failed, and that was just really funny. I have to admit though, out of all the entrances to characters on this series, Revolver's entrance, where he's sort of coming down the corridor, and the little fireflies are sort of disappearing, and then he comes and the light brightens him up every now and then. That was an awesome entrance. I will have to give it to Revolver. That was pretty cool. If I had to make a prediction on what's going to happen in next week's episode, if we don't get the conclusion to the Ghost Girl duel in the next week's episode, maybe it'll be in the next one, but I think they'll finish it in one episode. Ghost Girl is 100% going to lose. It's a shame, but no way is Revolver going to lose again. Revolver won't lose again now. I reckon if he plays Yusaku again, he might even beat him. And then it'll be like Yusaku's had 1 win, Revolver's had 1 win, and then the final duel will be the big decider. Most likely is how these things go. Or then again, maybe he'll defeat Ghost Girl, then Yusaku and Revolver will have maybe a master duel or a speed duel right there in that little circle bit again. And then the core thing might explode or become real or might bond with Ignis or something like that. And then we'll see what happens. Keep in mind though that we still need to be introduced because there were like 6 AIs altogether and we only know 1 of them, which is Ignis. So maybe the other 5 AIs are within that thing. So that's something else that we can see. Maybe that is Link VRAINS that they've been searching for. We'll have to see. But guys, let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. Are you glad to have Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS back after a recap episode? Who do you think is going to win in next week's episode? But other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching and catch you later.